This little bag right here fits everything that I need as a travel creator. So over the last couple of years, something that I've really been focusing on is simplifying my kit. When I first got started, I thought that having more gear meant more possibilities, but over time I noticed that having too much gear, having to lug around this gear while traveling was just not very enjoyable and started to slow me down. That's how I came up with this really simple and super light kit. Let's start off with my camera. The camera that I use for all my photos and videos is the Sony A7 IV. Great autofocus, enough megapixels to do what I want, enough features and customizable options to make the shooting experience a little bit more enjoyable. And for me, this camera is perfect. You could make this kit a little bit lighter by buying something like a Sony A7 II if that's what you like. The Sony A7 II is basically the same camera but a more compact version. I thought about this, but I decided not to for a couple of reasons. First of all, the Sony A7 II doesn't have the little joystick on the back that you can use to choose where you want to focus. I use this a lot, so it's very important to me. Also, when I have a professional shoot, I like backing up things on a second SD card, and the Sony A7 II only has one SD card slot. The Sony A7 IV also has a bigger grip. It's just more comfortable to carry, especially on a long day of shooting. It's an option if you want to make this kit lighter, but for me personally, I prefer the Sony A7 IV. Then for lenses, I usually only carry two lenses wherever I go. The first lens is this Viltrox 40mm f2.5 Air. The reason that I bought this lens is very simple. It's an Air version, which means that it's super light. This lens weighs in under 200 grams, making it super easy to carry. Viltrox has really good quality lenses and they're also very affordable, so you don't have to worry about breaking it or dropping it. If you travel and it gets stolen or something, it's not really that big of a deal. The only downside I can really think of this lens is that it doesn't have an aperture ring. This is of course personal preference, but I've gotten used to it myself and it doesn't really bother me that much anymore. The second lens that I use is the Viltrox 20mm f2.8 Air. This is the lens I grab when I need something a little bit wider. Also the lens that I shoot all of my YouTube videos on. Just like the 40mm, it's affordable, it's lightweight, and the image quality is great. These lenses actually look identical. If it didn't have 20mm on it, you probably couldn't even tell them apart because they have the exact same build. They also share the exact same filter thread, which means that I only buy one filter for both of my lenses. So this makes my life a lot easier and also helps me save space. When you're trying to build a minimal kit, things like this add up. So for me, it's a big benefit. For filters, I keep things pretty simple. The only filter that I really use is this ND filter by K&F Concept. So this is a variable ND 2 to 32. And I usually only use this when I'm shooting videos. That way I can keep my shutter speed where I want when I'm shooting in sunny conditions. So I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about the K&F filters. Some people say that they have heavy vignetting, that they have a lot of color cast. I personally haven't really found any issues for the way that I shoot, or at least not something that I'm really bothered by. The reason that I choose a variable ND over a kit is very simple. Once again, it's more gear to carry and it's also a lot easier to take off and on your lens. Usually I would just wrap this lens in a lens cloth, have it in my pocket, and then whenever I need it, I would just pull it out and start shooting. Probably not the best way to carry a filter, but so far I don't have any scratches on it, and even if I do, it's very cheap, so I don't really care. Great feature about these filters that I like is that they're magnetic. Having to screw on filters constantly is just very annoying. It takes a lot of time, and when you're out shooting in the street or you're doing travel photography or whatever, you have to be in the moment. You don't want to miss opportunity to get a beautiful shot, so having to screw it on and off just kind of disrupts my flow and makes me miss those moments. So yeah, this just really helps me with that. If you are planning on buying this kit, I do have to mention one thing, and that's that this kit only comes with one magnetic ring for your lens. So if you have two lenses like me, you're going to have to buy a separate ring. Also, it doesn't come with these lens caps. So there's specific lens caps that are magnetic that you need to use on these lenses. You can use it with a regular cap, but it doesn't really stay on that securely. Even then, it's still very affordable compared to other high-end brands. Then let's talk about this little thing. This is the Osmo Nano, and it's probably one of the most useful things in my kit. Whenever you see POV footage, behind the scenes, cinematic B-roll, or even talking head videos on Instagram, there's a high likelihood that I filmed them with this little camera. When I first got this camera, I was pretty critical of it, but after using it for a while, I have to say I was completely wrong. This little camera has become one of the most used things in my kit, and the biggest reason is because of its size. It's so small that you can take it everywhere without thinking about it. It's also very inconspicuous when you're out shooting. You don't have to use a chest harness or neck harness, so it saves space and it's just less of a hassle when you're out traveling. Another feature I really like is this vision dock that you can detach from the camera, and this just really helps with framing your shots. Now, I do have to be honest, this camera is amazing for its size, but the image quality is not up to par with something like the Osmo Pocket 3 or something like the Action 6. So if pure image quality is your biggest concern, then I would go for something like that. But for me, the size just outweighs that. Because I use the Osmo Nano to shoot cinematic clips as well, I also carry an ND filter for this camera, and that ND is this little ND by SmallRig. This ND simply fits over the lens, so once again, super easy and quick to take on and off. All my filters fit in this little pouch by KNF Concept. Not much to say about it, it's just a simple lens pouch that you can flip open. Has a little pouch here as well for a lens cloth. So yeah, super handy to keep everything nice and organized. And let's talk about the audio. So for my Sony A7 IV, I use the Sony G1. So this is a very small and portable mic that fits right into your hot shoe, so no need to attach a cable and connect it to your camera. I mostly use this microphone for audio for my talking head and also to capture ambience when I'm outside shooting. For my Osmo Nano, I use the DJI Mic 2, so the audio quality out of the Osmo Nano is actually pretty good, but I personally still prefer a separate mic, mainly because when I'm outside shooting and there's a lot of wind, it kind of becomes a little bit of an issue. It starts to struggle a little bit, and in my opinion, bad audio can really ruin a video. That's why I use the Mic 2, and the biggest reason that I chose this one over the Mic 3 or the Mic Mini is because it has a lavalier input. So recently I've been using this RØDE Lavalier II, and the biggest reason that I use it is because when I have my bag over my shoulder, I have the Osmo Nano here, and I have to clip the Mic 2 on my shirt like this, it becomes too much. So this lavalier I just simply clip to my shirt, and it takes up way less space and it doesn't really dangle around like this Mic 2. Another thing I really like is that I can just clip the transmitter to my belt, and it makes it a lot easier to see whether it's on or off. Usually I would have it hanging here and then I have to look like this if it's on or off. It's just really annoying, and once again it was just too much stuff going on here, so this solves that issue. If you buy the Mic 2 separately, it also comes with this little pouch right here, and this pouch is perfect because it's big enough to also carry the Osmo Nano and my lav mic. So it neatly fits into this little pouch right here, and that way it doesn't float around in my bag. So that covers the main kit. Then let's talk about the accessories I use. I don't use that many, but I do have a couple. First accessory that I use is this camera strap by Peak Design. So this is the Peak Design Leash. So what I like about this strap is, first of all, it has a quick release system. Second of all, it has these adjustable straps, so you can make the straps longer or shorter really easily. So I find this very useful, mainly because when I'm traversing a big city and it's really busy, I can keep my camera a little bit closer. That way it doesn't bump into people and it's a little bit more comfortable to carry as well. So very light, so it's easy to wrap around your wrist. So you can use it as a wrist strap as well. Second accessory I use is this little tripod by Ulanzi. Basically just a really tiny tripod slash selfie stick. So this is great for those talking head videos. I can simply hold my camera like this, like you would with a selfie stick. I can also put it down somewhere and take some behind the scenes shots. I also use it for my Sony A7 IV sometimes. It's not super stable, I probably wouldn't recommend it, but it does work. So I bought this separate little mount for the Osmo Nano. I can simply screw this on and off, and it also has a regular attachment for the Sony camera. I also always bring a second battery, so nothing fancy here, just a regular battery by Sony. 2 batteries is usually enough for me for a full day of shooting. I also always bring a battery pack. The one I use is by INIU, and this thing is amazing. This little battery has 10,000 milliamps per hour, which is crazy for its size. Not only that, it also has 25 watts for wireless charging, and it also has a 40-watt cable output. I usually use this battery to charge my Osmo Nano, to charge my Mic 2, and to charge my phone as well. So this battery has 2 ports right here, also a wireless option, so that means you can charge multiple devices at once. It also comes with this little strap right here, and this strap is actually also a cable, so you can just take it out and ta-da, you have a cable to charge your devices. So you don't have to bring a separate cable, it's always with you. So just really easy to use and super handy. I've been carrying this thing everywhere that I go. Because of the huge capacity, it means that I can charge all of my devices and I don't have to worry about it running out. Definitely go check out this brand. I've tried numerous of different battery bank brands, and right now I don't think anyone is on their level. Then last but not least is my bag. So the bag I use is the Ulanzi ABO2, and basically it's just a really compact and small but stylish sling bag. I actually made a separate video on this bag, so if you want a full in-depth review, go check out my channel. But that pretty much sums up most of the gear that I use when I'm out traveling. I also recently bought this iPad to edit on the go, but I'm still in the process of optimizing the kit around it, so I will probably make a separate video to review this iPad and the kit that I built around it. So if you're interested in that, subscribe to my channel. So I feel like this kit is close to perfect for what I do. I'm always in the process of swapping things out, trying new stuff, but right now I feel that I'm pretty close to perfection. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.